smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Tobago Updates morning show. I am your host, Renessa Ortiz, and I want to say thank you for making Tobago Updates your #1 station. Good morning to all of you viewing us on YouTube, Facebook, AMPLIA, Flow, and Digicel. We want to say stay tuned with us here this morning as we continue into our conversations this morning. Joined in studio this morning by my handsome co-host, Alex Brown. Good morning, Alex.
Well, thank you, Vanessa. Good morning.
Alex, are you blushing?
Yes, I am. Good morning, viewers. It is good to be with you again. You survived the rains yesterday, Vanessa?
Yes, I did. It was... Oh, I haven't seen that much rain in a while.
I am certain that many of our farmers are thankful.
Yes, yes. And we've had the conversation recently in terms of the changes in climate, how the rainy season has shifted tremendously over the years. So I'm sure that the individuals who have been plowing in the fields for the past few months are now happy to get that weather to really help with their crops.
I am certain. And the older folks say there's something different about crops being watered by the rain and watered by water that you get from the taps. Yes, they say that there's something different. I'm inclined to believe them because I look at what happens to the grass when it rains.
Very true.
So
Very
I think
true.
there's something to be said for it.
The rain comes like sustenance to the earth. You feel that refreshed energy.
So you feel refreshed this morning and energized?
No, the entire ambience of the space is usually very different after the rain falls. But we also want to urge our viewers to be careful on the roads while you are traversing to and from your destinations. But before we get further into the programming this morning, we head on over to news in 90 seconds. Tremendous relief as a missing light aircraft en route to Tobago has been found with both occupants alive and safe. The Dominican Republic registered Beechcraft Baron vanished on Friday, losing radio contact 20 minutes after departing St. Vincent. Following an intensive regional search and rescue mobilization by the Coast Guard and the Piarco Area Control Center, authorities confirmed the plane was located in waters north of Grenada. A major investigation into the incident is underway. In tertiary education news, the government has approved $19.8 million in supplementary funding to settle outstanding staff obligations. According to the Ministry of Tertiary Education, $13 million will clear retroactive payments owed to 56 UE employees. The remaining $6.8 million will cover salary increases, gratuities, and statutory obligations for over 400 COSTAT staff members, stabilizing operations across both institutions. And finally, tensions have boiled over in Parliament. Tobago West MP Joel Sampson declared that the PNM is dead, claiming Tobago suffered under its former administration but is now progressing under the current government and the Farley Augustine-led THA. The political friction escalated further after Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar alleged that opposition figures were on a TTEC utility delinquency list. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley fiercely rejected the claims as a hateful distraction, while PNM Tobago Council leader Shamfaka Joe Lewis issued a fiery rebuttal confirming her bills are fully paid and in credit. And that was the news in 90 seconds. Tune in again at 6:30 p.m. for our full newscast. Now, viewers, we're heading on to the celebratory segment of our morning. We're on to our birthday shout-outs this morning. First up on the lineup, we have Karen Thomas. Happy birthday to you from us here at the Tobago Updates family. Be safe today. Take some time out to go and experience the beach. Go buy a bar. Enjoy a good drink. Have some cake, have some ice cream, and spend it with those who love, cherish, and appreciate you. We hope you have a great day today.
Next on this morning shout out list is David Maharaj. Happy birthday to you, David. We hope that you have lots of fun, even as this picture suggests, and that you do it safely. We hope that today begins a new year of purpose and prosperity and the favor of God on your life. Happy birthday to you.
Next up, we have Philbert Hislop. Happy birthday to you. There's a bit of a mischievous grin on his face. I hope that joy continues throughout your day. We're sending special happy birthday and Father's Day greetings to the best and dearest husband and father in the whole world, Mr. Philbert Hislop. We can't stop thanking God for lending you to us always, and pray God's amazing and richest and abundant blessings on you today and always. With all our love and hugs and kisses from your wife and children, Karen and Tracy, and Kurden and Leanne, and grandchildren, Denzel, Janaya, Asaya, and Zane, and numerous adopted children. We love you to the moon and back. That's a message from his family to him today on his special day. And this has brought us to the end of our birthday shout-outs this morning. To those of you who did not make it on a birthday shout-out list, we want to say happy birthday to you and wishing you a bright and beautiful day ahead and year ahead. I also want to send special good morning greetings to Stefan Martin. I hope you have a great day today. Alex, we're seeing in the news in 90 seconds, we have so many instances here where we're talking about salary increases, paying outstanding salaries. We also saw that story in the space of that aircraft that went
That
AWOL.
story is particularly disturbing to me. In the first case, nobody wants to get into an aircraft and not arrive at the destination. The story came into the news and everybody got concerned. Rightfully so. I mean, we're all human. But I'm getting this sense as though now that the aircraft is found, you know, the authorities are a bit tight-lipped. Don't get us worked up and then not telling us what really happened. We actually do want to know, not just for the sake of knowing, but for understanding as a
What
people what
happened
exactly took
between-
place. The tight-lipped position now kind of raises more questions than you'd want being raised. It would raise questions of trust in the authorities, and this is not just in Trinidad and Tobago. So please, let's find a better way to respond to this.
But all in all, I'm just happy that
I
they
am happy
found
that they found the aircraft and
with the occupants safely.
no
Because
lives were
usually when you hear these instances, when you do find the
disappeared
aircraft,
aircraft usually doesn't end well.
exactly so. And I guess this is why we also need to get that information in terms of the investigation. What happened between that space of time? Why was there no contact? So that you can get some peace of mind.
And as I mean, I understand that an investigation takes place and it takes time, and that investigation would aid in preventing recurrence of situations like these. We're presuming that something went wrong with the aircraft, you know, but we need to manage this, in my view, a little better. Onto the issues of outstanding salaries, and I'm honestly wondering whether this should still be exciting. Why should it be exciting that you've owed people for a long time and paying them what you owe now is big news? Come on, just settle your debts and let's move on.
And I have to agree with you, because I think when it comes to being owed your due compensation, it should not take the extensive amount of time that it does. However, because of whatever matters or situations or concerns that are going on within the establishments and the institutions, we're just happy that now everyone is getting their due just in terms of
But
compensation.
there's something else that troubles me about it. If you owe the government, there is a formula that is law that says for every day you owe, this is how we calculate interest. You know, no such formula exists when the government owes you.
Well, Alex, you know that would not happen.
Then let's put it in place so that the government wouldn't owe, because I am strongly
But do you think that would
suspicious.
ever happen?
Not in my lifetime.
So viewers, we're heading on further into the programming this morning. Alex, what's in the rundown for viewers this morning?
Well, we're having more discussions of monies. So this morning we're talking, viewers, with the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, and we're talking particularly back pay update for teachers in Tobago. We're talking school ill discipline, so we're talking with tutor this morning, and then we're talking with the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Services Association. One fire service, I was reprimanded for saying that sometime before. The Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service Association, Social and Welfare Association, I think that's how they're called, and they're discussing pension calculations and an update there. Those are our discussions this morning, and I'm certain you'd want to be present for them.
And viewers, there you have it. Stay tuned if you want to be a part of all of these conversations. And remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Our world is filled with rhythm. Rhythm that's unapologetic, infectious, timeless. Rhythm is commitment in action. It's how we show up for each other with unrelenting support that goes the distance. Rhythm lives in the tiny beats of our most intimate moments and the seismic roars of our biggest achievements. Rhythm is resilience in motion. So even when things go out of sync, we do what it takes to bring the rhythm back. At Flow, we understand your rhythm because we live it. That's why we're dedicated to building a network as resilient as you, with a team of familiar faces working every day to keep you on beat. You're at the heart of everything we do, and our commitment is to keep your rhythm flowing, no matter what.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chilled vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
My name is Carl Page. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
From the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road. Tobago calling. Sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true.
Oh gosh. Tobago updates. On the screen, there we go. You're home for October, can't even show. From the big stage shine to the radio line. We bring Tobago to the world in real time.
Tobago updates. Tobago updates. Carnival 2026. We said the pace. Wave your flag. Anywhere you're there. Anywhere. Island love streaming all around you. Yeah. Clicking lock on for the rhythm start.
Tobago updates. Caribbean art. Caribbean art. Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624 333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. have business, will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the soca party.
Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Thank you for staying with us, viewers. Welcome back. As promised before the break, we're talking with the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association, and we're talking about discipline in schools. We're talking about outstanding payments and the updates thereon. We're talking with Tobago officer, Mr. Dion Rodriguez. Good morning to you and welcome.
Pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning to the listening audience, to the teachers throughout Tobago, throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and those viewing on the World Wide Web. A pleasant good morning to you. It's indeed a pleasure to be here again on Tobago Updates.
Notice you're not missing out greeting the teachers. You're not making that mistake at all. Mr. Rodriguez, last time you were with us, we ended on a kind of sour note, and by that I mean there was the issue of some sick leave that was unclassified and reportedly just sent to Tobago in a box, no files, none. What has been development with that since then?
Okay, so since then, those are the extended sick leave that needed to be classified. As I indicated last time I was here, and it's a bugbear with me as a Tobago officer coming into office. Once a teacher has expired their 14-day sick leave, they go into what is referred to as extended sick leave. And under the Education Act, the Minister of Education is responsible for the classification of extended sick leave. And he have devolved that power to the Permanent Secretary in Trinidad. So all extended sick leave in Tobago has to go down to Trinidad for classification. And as you know, the conversation continues. We would have had a situation in the past where the box was sent to Tobago. I was at a ministry meeting last month and they indicated that someone in Tobago would have requested the box to come back to Tobago because they assumed, quote unquote, that Tobago would have already received that devolution of authority, which we don't have even at this time. And as a result of that, the box was sent back to Trinidad, so those extended sick leave would be classified. We haven't had any confirmation. It has been sent back about approximately 3 weeks now, and we haven't had any confirmation. I'm going to a ministry division meeting this morning at 9:30, and it's my expectation that they're going to get feedback as to leave being classified. And you know, it's really disturbing, Mr. Alex Brown, because of the fact that this is Trinidad and Tobago, and we live in an environment. I was expecting that maybe the Secretary of Education would have conversation. I don't know if he had conversation, but I'm hoping that we have rapid response and a rapid classification of those almost 300 leave that has been sent back to Trinidad.
300, Vanessa. And we've had no classification. We've also had no updates since then as to what the situation is. Well, let's hope that it works out and works out quickly.
Yes, definitely.
And soon enough.
Now, Mr. Rodriguez, on the topic of school indiscipline, we've seen the Speyside High School has issued a release or statement into social media about the situation concerning students and teachers as it relates to a student allegedly threatening teachers and other students and what you may call being a menace to the school environment. Let's start with what protections are available for educators when it comes to these issues and these circumstances within the school system.
Well, within the school system, there's protection. Mainly the teacher, him or her have to protect themselves. Outside of that, there might be the security guard. At some secondary schools, there is the police. But outside of that, the teacher is responsible for his or her safety and has to do what is needful where that is concerned. I would have spoken to an individual, an officer at the school, a teacher at the school, and she would have indicated to me that she was threatened by a particular student. And what is disturbing about the whole situation is that once, and I want to say to teachers, once you are threatened by a student, it is not your responsibility to determine whether the child is capable or whether the child is serious. Such a situation must be reported to the police and must be reported to the police immediately. In that situation, I think that the teacher was facilitated and the matter was reported to the police.
We understand that you must take a threat seriously. You being a teacher yourself, the internal mechanisms of the average school, what does a school do internally that would that constitutes an appropriate response to something like this?
All right, so it varies from school to school. All schools would have what is referred to as a disciplinary matrix and depend on the severity of the matter. So what the disciplinary matrix does is highlight several infractions by the students, and they may rank them in order of severity, and basically assigned to each infraction would be some kind of consequence. Suffice it to say, in most instances, even the disciplinary matrix that is put out by the Ministry of Education, you're going to realize that a lot of the infraction, the consequence or the penalty for those infractions is simply suspension. And we know, we have heard the stories going round and round, that most times where you see those students by the LEC, that's the center that they send these students that are suspended, it's always repeated offenders. So we have to have a system of reformation. We have to have a system where these students, after several intervention strategies, that we see some level of change. I know that some schools have as well in-house suspension. Some schools have in-house programs that helps to try to reform the particular student or students or group of students. But outside of that, it's simply a matter of suspending the students. Remember that corporal punishment is no longer on the books, and as a result of that, there's limited things that the teachers can do. Maybe they can give them lines, maybe they can give them some sort of community service, but outside of that, all we have is the suspension. So in honesty, our teachers' hands are tied.
I was paying particular attention to the issue of rehabilitation, because I am of the view that a child who is disruptive or who is at the point where they're threatening physical violence needs some sort of intervention. The thing is, even though corporal punishment were available, that deals with the immediate.
Yes.
But the root cause, and I think that's one of the issues that as a society we fail at in terms of addressing the root causes of issues like these. A child will not, let's go back to the issue of Speyside High School. If the reports circulating in the public domain are true, then this child has singularly threatened teaching staff, security staff, and the students. This doesn't strike me as normal. And so there has to be something underlying. And from what I'm getting from you, there's nothing that addresses the root causes of these problems, so that even if you send them to the LEC, then we have an issue of whether the LEC is equipped to deal with that student. What really are the resources that are provided, if you're able to tell, at the LEC, and do they include interventions that go beyond this child and look into what's happening in the family?
All right, so at the LEC, I am not too previous to everything, but the students engage in some form of counseling there. We have the student support service staff as well that is attached there. So we have the psychologists, we have the psychologists, the sociologists, and all those individually social worker that would be attached to the LEC that would investigate. Sometimes they solicit the services of external individuals within the Division of Health, because what we find some of these students, there's some level of neurodivergency where these students are concerned. So
just pause there. Help us. What is neurodivergency?
Well, basically, it is individuals or children who are acting out in ways based on some form of inbred psychological or psychological impact. So they really just acting out and acting out. They can't sit still. They maybe ADH, etc. So there are a number of factors that can contribute to these students behaving in a particular type of way.
Now, Mr. Rodriguez, you highlighted some of these students may be neurodivergent, or they may be experiencing disorders that may have not been diagnosed within them, because maybe their background, their parents may not be able to identify these things, or they're probably just saying, as you said, the children are just deviant. Are teachers receiving adequate training in terms of managing escalating classroom situations, knowing when to identify that a student may be within a certain bracket to reach out for help? Are teachers being trained to identify these issues and to treat with these issues as well?
No, well, mainly in all honesty, our teachers have limited abilities in some of these areas. What the teacher usually do, and what is the case, is that there's a referral program, and these students are referred, and whether it's the guidance unit would chart that discussion, chart the student through a series of assessment, etc. But within themselves, the teachers don't really have the skill set to make the assessment. All the teachers do is to refer the particular student so that they can be assessed.
Providing that there's no immediate change, what does the school do? A teacher is threatened, students are threatened. What does the school do?
Well, I want to first of all speak to my teachers this morning and let the teachers know, if we had to build a case, and if we had to build a song case, and I was speaking to that similar situation at our annual general meeting of tutor, the district executive level last week, Thursday. Sometimes teachers do not write. It is important that teachers record every incident, because if any action is to be taken, let's say that you want a student based on continuous behavior, based on assessment being done, and there's no change, and it seems like, listen, this child appears to be sound and it's just a matter of a behavioral issue and so on, and you want further action to take place, you want the child to be suspended, go on extended suspension, maybe request the child being expelled from the school, etc. We must have documented evidence. So I encourage our teachers to record, keep a copy for yourself, give a copy to the principal, because there's a communication procedure, there's communication guidelines which we as teachers must follow, and therefore our only evidence that we have is to record. So something took place on Monday, you have to write about it. If it take place again on Wednesday, you write about it again, and you keep writing writing and compiling the file, because one day it might get to a point where it requires serious intervention, and when they're asking for the evidence, there's no evidence.
But do teachers within the association feel as though disciplinary measures and procedures are strong enough, or do they require policy changes?
Well, there might be some measure of policy change that might be required, but within the present framework, there's limitation as to what the teacher can do, as I say, rather than create that level of documentation and record what is happening. For example, incidents that take place within the classroom, incidents that take place within the school, it's documented by the teacher, it's documented maybe by the dean, it's documented by the principal, so there's consistent evidence. I think what is required more than a policy change might be greater intervention, support systems, because as we indicated earlier, we don't know really what is happening sometimes in the home situation of these students. We don't know what is happening, what are their experiences. We don't know if there's a special diagnosis that these children may have that will inform us as teachers. So what teachers need is greater support to be able to understand the students that is in front of them, and then greater support as well, as you asked the question earlier, as to how do we treat with these particular type of students.
Right. Viewers, we want to say thank you. We take a break now. The conversation is not over, but stay with us and we'll come back and continue discussion with Mr. Rodriguez on this very, very important issue. Remember during the break to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
On Saturday, June the 27th, at 5 p.m., Divine Breakthrough Empowerment Ministries, located at Grafton Main Road, Black Rock, presents prophetic praise and worship theme, Manifest. 5 churches, 5 worship teams. As we come together in praise and worship, come expecting a time of refreshing. Come expecting your healing, your deliverance, your miracle, your salvation. As God manifests Himself, see you there.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-99999.
And I have never, ever tried anything from the dirt oven. Let's go to the backyard dirt oven on a Thursday. Here now, talk about authentic. On entry, I felt at home. I felt like I was going to visit my loving grandmother on a weekend. The kind of weekend where she showers you with love, stories, and food. This place is a home away from home. And just like I would do at home, I popped the question, what you had to eat day? And boom, coconut drops. Boom, bread. Boom, garlic bread. Boom, hops. Boom, coconut tart. Boom, jam tart. And boom, something they call nuts. And just like that, Mistress Baker was ready to pop them in the oven. And don't worry, she had some help. And while we was waiting, I said, let we hear from Mistress Baker herself.
Well, we've been operating for a couple of years now. We started, this was a COVID project. We operate strictly on Tuesdays only. You don't keep stock, we only sell on Tuesdays.
Such a sweet lady. Hey, AMPLIA, get ready. When last you see a nice golden brown bread, sir? Backyard bakery for the win. AMPLIA at GT. I finally get me the oven bread with a little extra goodies on the side. You might be asking, where they're located? They are located on Bukuru, right on Nightingale Avenue, right before Racetrack Wheels if you're coming from town. Just look for the green hedge. You can't miss it. Pause. Check out the menu they one time. Honestly, guys, this is an experience I will never forget. It's a home away from home, a place filled with love, life, and most importantly, good bread.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Viewers, welcome back. We're continuing the conversation this morning with Mr. Dion Rodriguez, Tobago Officer of Tutor. And before the break, we were speaking about school in discipline. Mr. Rodriguez, it's a pleasure to have you here as we continue this conversation. And as we wrap up this topic this morning, is there any particular message that you want to send to teachers at this point in time, given the situation that is currently ongoing here on the island of Tobago?
Yes, well, I want to let the teachers know that although under the public service regulations, you would be controlled in some sense, and you cannot vent in the public space as teachers because the public service regulations prohibits you from doing so, and it's mirrored in the Education Act and even in the Tutor Code of Ethics 3.2 and 3.7 because there are particular channels of communication. I want to encourage individuals to bring all information, all dissatisfaction, all concerns, all grievances to your association. This is what Tutor is here for. Tutor is here to go into the public space. Tutor is here to advocate on your behalf as teachers. So once there's a situation at your school, reach out to the DFO, reach out to the Tobago officer, let your staff rep know so that the communication flow is there so that we are apprised in a timely manner and we are updated in a timely manner so that we have full information as to what is happening at your particular schools so that we can address it and speak to it with some level of authority.
Now we're transitioning on to the outstanding payments, the back pay approvals, and Parliament recently approved 79 million for salary increases and back pay arrears for Tobago teachers. Has Tutor received any official implementation timeline from the THA or the Ministry of Finance?
So unfortunately, this arrears of back pay, remember that on the 18th of April 2025, Tutor would have signed an agreement with the CPO which allowed us a salary increase, though not extravagant. It was what it is at that point in time. And from that point thereon, we know what happened on the 28th of April 2025. There was a change in administration in Trinidad and Tobago. We would have been hearing stories from that time on. We heard that in July 2025, that we are going to receive the arrears that is due unto us. We listened in the budget with bated anticipation. We heard projections, appropriation being done so that monies would be allocated for the payment of back pay of teachers. The Minister of Finance went on record as saying that the adjustment of salaries is going to take place in December and the arrears of back pay is going to take place in the first quarter of 2026. Well, I'm a maths teacher and I'm wondering when the first quarter of 2026 will end, because in my estimation that time has far gone. We are now in the state where they have the mid-year review, and we are hearing a number of things. I am hearing, and a clip that I saw last Friday, question posed to the Minister of Finance, that $74 million is going to be allocated to the Tobago House of Assembly to pay teachers in the Tobago space their back pay, because the question was asked and that was his specific response. And then we are hearing yesterday where the Minister of Finance is saying that, listen, we are going to address the teachers' arrears of back pay in the 2026 to 2027 fiscal year. We don't know what is happening. Tutor would have written to the Minister of Finance. Tutor would have written to the Minister of Education seeking clarity. I would have asked the question, and I'm asking the question openly this morning. And this is Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago. And I'm asking the question openly. What is happening with teachers' arrears, and specifically in Tobago? I want to hear a comment from the Secretary of Education. He is responsible for the matters that pertain to teachers in Tobago. We are just hearing things in the public space and we don't know what is happening, and it's gross disrespect for us being the recognized majority union and we are not receiving confirmation as to what is happening with our teachers' back pay. And teachers are fed up. A teacher called me yesterday. She said, Mr. Rodriguez, I'm fed up. It's only lies and lies and lies and more lies. We don't know where to stand with this. We are hopeful. I know that the Secretary of Finance was on your station yesterday morning and I listened to her utterances. We are very hopeful. But you see, when you keep continuously promising individuals and those promises are not fulfilled, you get to a point where promises, that is just what it is, promises. Persons have no faith in promises anymore.
Mr. Rodriguez, I think the point is well made that a major issue is that of communication. I want to ask very directly, what is the nature of the, at least however you define the Tobago arm, you're the Tobago office, I'm not sure how the Tobago arm of the association is defined, but however that is defined, what's the nature of the relationship between yourselves and the Secretary for Education? I'm asking that not from the position of he being a politician, but somebody who was in the place you are now. What's the nature of the relationship? Because I'm thinking that this is somebody who should understand the place you find yourself. What's the nature of that relationship?
Well, in all honesty, we have a very cordial relationship. I call him from time to time. We engage in communication on particular matters. As a matter of fact, as I indicated, we are having a division meeting this morning with the administrator. We usually have monthly meetings with the division, with the administrator and her various heads. The question have been asked about back pay and so on. Now, we have cordial communication, and I must say that there are matters that they treat with. But when it comes to this situation, that's the challenge that we are having. When it comes to this situation, everyone seems very tight-lipped, and they are not revealing well what is the way forward and at what time. We need a timeline. Our teachers need a timeline. Everyday cost of living is going up.
You said something that is a bit troubling to me, because there was one statement being made by the government in the media review, but seemingly something else being said as to when this is being done. And you're saying tutor has not been given any certain word as to whether it's going to be addressed in the media review or whether it's going to be addressed in 2026, 2027. What, probably without divulging all of your intent, what may be tutor's next step in terms of seeking a resolution in this matter?
Well, as I indicated, tutor is we're really tired and fed up of trying to reach out to the ministry. We're really tired and fed up trying to reach out to the Minister of Finance. There's limitation in what we can do as an association, but teachers are fed up. Teachers are fed up of the present situation. And I don't know in terms of what teachers intend to do or what the union intend to do, because we have to go by the guidelines. Teachers are restricted by law, and we cannot engage in any form of protest action. You would have known what would have happened with an injunction would have been filed against us as an association some years ago, and we are not going to make the same mistake twice. But teachers are just fed up, and we are calling on the association. Maybe we need to just get our candles and go outside and sing some kumbaya or some kind of thing. But teachers are totally fed up. And we are going to go into our strategic war room, and we are going to come out, because this cannot continue as it is.
Mr. Rodriguez, we want to thank you so much for coming on this morning, talking to us about school indiscipline, talking about the updates as it relates to teachers' back pay update. And we hope that you guys really do get the resolution that you're looking for. And going forward in the next months, we're hoping that we see a positive response.
Thank you, and thank you for having me as usual.
If you'll stay right here, we continue the conversations. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
From the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road.
From the reef to the road. Tobago calling. Sweet vibes, sweet wine, everybody falling. We bring the culture straight to you. Tobago updates, we keeping it true.
Oh gosh, Tobago updates. On the screen, here we go. You're home for October, carnival show. From the big stage shine to the valley road line, we bring Tobago to the world in real time.
Tobago updates. Tobago updates. Carnival 2026. We set the pace, 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 pace. Wave your flag. Anywhere you're there.
Anywhere.
Island love, trimming all around you. Yeah. Big king long on for the rhythm start.
Tobago updates, Caribbean art, Caribbean art, 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 art.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chill vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
Okay. 335, 336, 337, 338, 339.
Counting on your fingers again. No wonder you lose your business.
Grandpa, thanks for helping me start over.
You not lucky in business, you know. As a child, you tried to sell hog plum. That failed. As a teenager, you and your boyfriend tried to break into the jewelry business. But hey, where that boy end up?
He live in Aruka in the Grove. The golden one.
Oh, child, if you want to get into business, you have to have your financial records intact. But hey, do you know your numbers?
Of course, 624-333.
No, child, your numbers, your ratios, your equity ratios. You have a financial handicap.
What?
You need to see somebody about that. Anderson.
Who?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago, they offer tax and accounting services. They know about financial management.
Grandpa, I started this business with nothing.
And nothing is what you will end up with unless you call Anderson Services. Here.
Okay, this card is nice.
Yeah.
What's this?
Your rental fee. Have business will pay rent. Hot and groovy in the sugar party.
Are you in a dispute with a registered investment service provider of the TTSEC? Or maybe you're the victim of an investment scam? You can lodge a complaint or submit an anonymous tip to the Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission. Download our Investor Protection app or go to ttsec.org.tt to access our complaint form or submit an anonymous tip. Write a clear summary of your complaint. Submit copies of supporting documents along with the originals for verification. Provide a copy of the feedback received from the entity regarding your complaint. All investor complaints or scam reports submitted by the public are acknowledged and reviewed by the TTSEC. Investigations are pursued based on the outcome of the review. Trinidad and Tobago Securities and Exchange Commission, protecting the interests of investors and the public. You invest, we protect. Everyone benefits.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back, viewers, on to the last segment of the Tobago Updates morning show. We're speaking virtually with Keon Guy, President of the Fire Service Association, and we're talking about major updates to pension calculations. Good morning and welcome to you.
Hi, good morning, and thank you guys for having me.
Pleasure to have you here.
Mr. Guy, let's jump right into it. We know that outside of the regular public service and possibly teaching service and areas, probably in the private sector, there's a difference in retirement age in the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. So what is retirement age in the fire service, and tell us as well how were the pension calculations previously done?
Thank you again, and thank you for the question. Well, the retirement age in the fire service, as you rightfully say, differs from the rest of the public and the civil service in that our retirement age, mandatory retirement age that is, stands within the second division at the age of 55. The second division is the division that encompasses the ranks from firefighter, which is the entry-level rank, to our grade 4 office, which is that of the fire station officer. So all officers within the fire service, not just fire service, but fire, police, and prison service that retire within the second division are mandatorily retired at 55, compared to their counterparts within the public service that go on to age 60. In the past, what we had occurring was, and this is what the finance bill actually seeks to amend in the 5th schedule of the Fire Service Act, is to amend the manner in which the periods of acting in the higher offices that the officers may have undergone immediately preceding the age of retirement, how that period of acting would be treated. In the past, the officers would have to act for continuously in excess of 3 years. That's 3 years without vacation leave, continuously before going into retirement in order for them to receive the pension at that acting office. Thankfully, what this bill seeks to do is ensure that those officers will be entitled to that pension after just serving in excess of 12 months, which is a tremendous achievement for those officers, especially in a public service where we have the use of acting that is almost, I would say, almost abused to this extent, where we have some officers within the fire service specifically acting in excess of 8 years without ever being confirmed in those offices. So it's a welcomed amendment to the Fire Service Act and our pension arrangements.
Now, why was this issue considered unfair in the first place, and how were officers being disadvantaged under the previous system? I know you sort of highlighted it in your first answer, but can you go a bit in depth for the individuals who still may be a bit unclear?
Well, it was unfair in several ways. Well, first of all, this amendment brings the fire service, prison service, and the police services pension arrangements specifically for those officers who are acting into alignment with what presently has existed and presently exists within the wider public service. So within the wider public service, let's say, for instance, an officer that might be wholly office of a clerk 2 might have acted as a clerk tree for over a year, at least a year before they retire, they will then have their pensions calculated at that superior office. That has not been the case in the fire service or within the protective services at large, and was a tremendous disadvantage because here you had someone who the organization would have identified there was an operational need to appoint this person to act. In a large majority of the cases, those officers are qualified and satisfy all requirements to be permanently appointed in the office. However, because of the challenges at the Service Commission Department and within the administrative processes within the fire service, it often stymies the rate of progress through the ranks. So what it seeks to do is that in the event the officer is not even confirmed, but once he would have acted for the minimum of 12 months, he would now be able to enjoy that higher pension, ensuring that the officer's standard of living when he retire is much closer to that what he enjoyed for those years that he served just preceding his retirement. So again, a welcome amendment, and officers, both retired and active within the fire service, are celebrating at this time.
Now, the association has been advocating for this change for about 5 years. What challenges did you encounter in getting policymakers to address the matter?
Well, often, you require the political will to make changes like this. And even when you have the political will, there are the financial implications, given the state of the economy that we've been in and the government's desire to minimize that recurring expenditure that we know pensions would add to. But even if you have all those things in alignment, there's the challenge of actually getting amendments done in the act is a very, very meticulous process that takes a number of years. So this is something that started around the table with the Chief Personnel Officer, Dr. Daryl Dindial. And after MOU was agreed to and signed off by the association, it then went on to the Ministry of Finance. The Minister of Finance would have had to take it to Cabinet and then get the approval of his colleagues. From that, we would of course have to go on to the drafters of the legislation, ensure that the legislation does not in some way nullify some other entitlement or right, or is not unjust in some manner. And because that process in itself is so lengthy, is what added to the length of time it took for us to be able to have this now brought before the Parliament, and we're quite excited about that. But there have been a number of issues just with the recognition, first of all, that this was indeed something that created a misalignment in the way that officers within the public service at large, whether it be uniformed or non-uniformed personnel, are compensated, and we are quite elated to see that this issue is now, to some extent, a large extent, addressed.
You mentioned, Mr. Guy, that there are cases where officers are acting in higher positions for extended periods. What do you suspect would be the cause? I mean, I think if somebody is acting in a position for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it suggests to me two things. The first thing is that there is a vacancy. And the second thing is that this person is doing a good job. What precludes that person from being confirmed in that position and will have to continue to act for extended periods?
So the fire service is largely dependent on the Service Commission Department to fill vacancies. That power comes straight from the Constitution and is given then to the Service Commission Department, who has the authority to appoint officers within the fire service. Now, some of those officers, or the appointment thereof, is delegated then to the chief officer, who can make appointments. But on a large scale, it is the Public Service Commission that is responsible for those appointments. And the fire service and the prison service, in this case, not having the advantage of our colleagues within the police service, we don't have our own service commission. So we are largely dependent on the Public Service Commission, who has their own challenges internally as it relates to staffing issues, as it relates to the turnover of personnel, and of course some institutional knowledge is then lost because of because of those reasons, we then see a stymieing almost of the appointment process within the fire service. So even though we may have a large cadre of officers who would have undergone all sorts of testing and examinations to ensure that they are competent enough to serve in the higher offices, and then the operational needs of the organization then demands that they then act in those offices. The administrative side of things is what is playing catch up behind, and often to the demise of the officers, and as well to our operational capabilities, because these then put pressure on other systems within the fire service, like failure to pay acting allowances and other entitlements that persons would need to properly carry out their offices. Take, for instance, a particular office, which is our grade 4 office, that which is held as by fire station officers. Those officers right now are not in receipt of any of that. The acting allowance that will go ahead along with that office. Neither are they in receipt of the traveling and upkeep. And that's an office that has quite a lot of traveling attached to it. So there's a burden on the officer now who is now taking on these additional responsibilities. But because he's not confirmed, he is not receiving on a timely basis the acting allowances, neither the traveling and upkeep, and then he now becomes out of pocket and is unable to really maintain that standard of operational capabilities because he's unable to respond as he normally would because there is a financial hurdle now to overcome. So the challenges start as an administrative one, but there is an operational impact, and it does indeed to some extent impact the level of service that we could deliver to members of the public. And that is the case both in Trinidad and in Tobago.
Do you see possibly a commission that could probably serve both the fire service and the prison service as an answer, at least in part, to this challenge? And is it something that is on your association's radar?
Yes, it is, quite naturally. And this is something that goes way back. I can speak for my colleague within the prison service, the president, Mr. Jared Gordon, and I. It's a matter that we've had extensive discussions on. And even previous to the two of us holding offices, I know that our predecessors would have held discussions and would have made calls to have such adopted. But again, this comes to the entire issue of constitutional reform and the political will to make those amendments and see improvement in the delivery of services, not just to the members of the public, but to the officers, the public officers that are asked to hold those officers and carry out those functions. So indeed, having a dedicated public service or service commission department rather, that is geared towards treating with the issues of fire officers specifically and prison officers will derive tremendous benefits. And also it will help treat with the issue of turnover and the loss of institutional knowledge. Because even right internally within the service commission, even though we may have senior HR officers who may hold office for extensive time, they are moved from schedule to schedule. And as a result, even though that they would have become now competent in understanding the fire services regulations and the prison service act and so on, which is different to the civil service regulations and different to the public service regulations, they then are transferred, and then the new officer then has to go through that same learning curve again, and it contributes to this time, the slow rolling of the process, which is not something that we think is intentional, but is innate within the public services or the service commission department's administrative processes. So certainly having a dedicated service commission department that could treat specifically with the fire and prison service will go a long way with addressing some of these systemic issues.
Mr. Guy, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning and just giving a brief overview of what this amendment would mean for our fire officers, and hoping and wishing you the best outcome as it relates to this amendment.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me. And again, good morning to all your listeners in Trinidad and in Tobago. Take care.
Same to you. Now, to viewers, I want to say thank you for staying tuned to us here at Tobago Updates on the Tobago Updates morning show. But the programming is not finished here at Tobago Updates. Up next, we have GMT. Remember to share the live, share the live, share the live.
Zora. Yes. If you have been wondering, if you have been asking, questioning, Lukosi and Cindy Dick.
What we did is post-harvest handling and safety in fresh produce. The reason for this is because at times, farmers do all the good agricultural practices in the field, and then when they reach or harvest the produce, there you see spoilage. So what we did, we geared our workshop to allow farmers to know the post-harvesting practices which will prevent spoilage or damage to their goods.
We dealt with storage, type of storage you need, temperature management, how to control incompatibility with the commodities that could spoil one another, how to avoid taking to the market stuff that is not good, and remind them of their harvesting. This is what they should do, the time of the day they should harvest, the containers they must use. The session was really about letting farmers know that they themselves are responsible for the safety and for the quality of the produce that they will put on the offer for sale, whether for retail or whether they are selling it themselves.
Farmers, of course, they were the main focus, students, and then we have persons who are potential farmers. So sometimes going into something, you want them to have a jump start, to have the best way in.
I learned a lot of things that I really didn't know about tomatoes, having vibration, injuries, and how to properly harvest tomatoes and other crops, and how to see different defective crops and etc. So it was very informative. I enjoyed it a lot.
I learned a couple new things especially in handling the produce and especially storage also, because most of my losses is like when I leave the garden, I get less than I actually produce in the garden. So the handling of the produce actually will help me.
Being very mindful what you're putting into the production stage, and be mindful how you harvest, you transport it, or you store it, or you keep it cool, and what you put it next to when you're transporting it.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Good morning, and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Chanel Felix, and you know whenever you see me sitting here, it's because we're about to have those conversations that you want to have while I ask those questions that you want asked. But before we get into this morning's interesting topics and conversations, let's have our news in 90 seconds. Tremendous relief as missing light aircraft en route to Tobago has been found with both occupants alive and safe. The Dominican Republic registered Beechcraft Baron vanished on Friday, losing radio contact 20 minutes after departing St. Vincent, following an intensive regional search and rescue mobilization by the Coast Guard and Piaco Area Control Center. Authorities confirmed the plane was located in water north of Grenada. A major investigation into the incident is underway. Additionally, in tertiary education news, the government has approved $19.8 million in supplementary funding to settle outstanding staff obligations. According to the Ministry of Tertiary Education, $13 million will clear retroactive payments owed to 56 UE employees. The remaining $6.8 million will cover salary increases, gratuities, statutory obligations, and over 400 COSTAT staff members, stabilizing operations across both institutions. And finally, tensions have boiled over in Parliament. Tobago West MP Joel Sampson declared that the PNM is dead, claiming Tobago suffered under its former administration but is now progressing under the current government and the Farley-led THA administration. The political friction escalated further after Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar alleged that opposition figures on the TNTech utility delinquency list were allowed to not be disconnected. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley fiercely rejected the claims as a hateful distraction, while PNM Tobago Council leader Shamfaka Joe Lewis issued a fiery rebuttal, confirming that her bills are fully paid. Ladies and gentlemen, that was our news in 90 seconds. Before we move on to our discussions this morning, we want to send condolences out to Mr. Anton Parks from our team here at Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, he is currently mourning the loss of his mom, Mrs. Bernadette Parks, and so we are sending all the love from our team here at Tobago Updates. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we jump straight on ahead to our conversation, and I have the privilege of sitting and chatting this morning to coach and motivational speaker Mr. Michael Stewart. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
So we are no stranger to seeing you on our screens, and this morning we are talking a bit about boys, particularly within the school environment, and the difference and difficulties sometimes faced with reaching young boys. Good morning again.
Good morning.
We've seen a number of activities happening in Tobago, and particularly in recent time, that situation that took place at the Speyside High School, that shows that there's still a lot of aggression among young men that can spill over into school life, particularly in the classroom, that can cause disruption, but also fear among other students as well as teachers and other members of staff. Talk to us a bit about what it takes to truly reach the young boys of this generation.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. I think it is important for us to be able to do a diagnosis. If someone goes to a doctor, what you do is express to the doctor the symptoms that you have. The doctor would be able to say, because of these symptoms, these are the likely reasons that you're having these symptoms. When we look at what's happening in the schools, when we look at what took place in Speyside, when we look at what takes place in other schools, even in Trinidad and so on, and you look at those symptoms, we have to now go backward to be able to find out what caused those symptoms. And so it is important for us to be able to understand that a boy who's 2 years old was not like how he is when he's 15, 16. Therefore, ask yourself, what took place between 2 years old and 15, 16? Something transitioned, something happened, something that, what we call a kairos, that interceded in between 2 years and 15 years old. Once we could locate that, and then we could diagnose it and treat it, then going forward we would have a solution to it.
You still have a lot of persons or parents, saying, I truly don't know where things went wrong. I did everything that I could. I gave him the best tools, the best upbringing, the best schools, the best toys, the best environment. And yet he wants to be a part of a group that is nothing like the group that I raised him in. What is it in him that feels like he needs to appeal to a demographic of young boys that had a totally different upbringing?
Right. Notice all of those things you brought are external.
Right.
None of them were internal. But when we come to talk about what is it in him, we've gone internal. What is it that is missing inside of him? Because we provide for our children so much of the external, the things to eat, the places to go, the things to wear, etc. But have we been delinquent or not been doing what we need to do to be able to provide the internal?
Right.
And some of these boys come from homes, because many times I visit some of these homes and prisons, etc., not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but the Caribbean. Many of them do not have a father. That affects a boy, because where does he get his masculine template from? It has to be from a father, it has to be from a male. When that is missing, then the boy obviously is going to be deficient in knowing what masculinity is, what wholesome masculinity is. And so because we do have the majority of boys growing up in homes that are headed by a single parent, and most time that single parent is a female, he comes out in school, it is also a female teacher, because the majority of teachers are females. And so almost every area he goes to. So the places that you really have masculinity, although might not be the kind of masculinity we want, would be the gangs. The gang would support you, protect you, and they are going to champion for you, and they're going to provide all the things for you, but they also give you a sort of affirmative action, even though it is negative. But if we just translate that into the home or into society, because the agent of society would be the home, the church, the school, and the media. Those are the 4 areas that we need to now look at. And that is now, I think, would have an impact in transforming boys in a particular way.
Understood. And even for the teachers, as it pertains to being able to effectively reach these students in the classroom, get them to learn, get them to want to participate. Is it a situation where we need to remove them from the environment, get them the training, get them the assistance, get them the support that they need in order for them to even be focused enough to receive the teaching that is being done in the classroom?
Yes, and I pray for teachers, because I tell you, the teachers really have a Herculean task having to deal with it in school. You're talking about 20-something students, in some cases 30-something students with different personalities, etc. But yes, one, the training of the teachers and how to be able to manage some of these things, but that is also putting more burden upon teachers. Also, having to have I think the teachers themselves need to have more responsibility given to them. I think a lot was taken away. And so it is easier for a child to do a teacher harm, to scratch a car or to scratch his vehicle, than for a teacher to punish that child. And children know this. In fact, they would challenge the teachers and say, you cannot touch me, you cannot hit me, etc. And I'm not saying hitting has to be the method has to be used, but you need to put back the responsibility and the power in the hands of those who have the immediate care. And also, I see that there's new attempt now in some cases to bring legislature that parents would have more responsibility and would be held accountable for their children. And I think that is so. In one country, if your child is found on the street after hours, if your child has committed a misdemeanor, they garnish your salary or hold you responsible for it. And what they found is that parents have become a bit more responsible now because it hit them where it hurts.
Understood. As it pertains to the community impact and community doing its work to foster a more healthy environment for young men, you often hear a person saying the initiatives are there. They are the churches, they are the groups, the NGOs, they're doing the work. But the participation of the young men, it isn't there. You're not getting them to come out and be a part of it. It's almost as if you have to beg them to come out and be a part of the police youth group, be a part of the different activities happening in the community. So what is it that's pulling them to the gangs and the negative activities? But when you ask them to come and join the football club, come and play cricket, come and do something constructive, there's that pull and tug.
Well, I think that many of these groups are doing their best. Myself being part of some of these groups, but we don't get the support, the funding that a gang would be able to go out and steal and do a home invasion and get the kind of funding and resources to be able to give a man and say, here, take $100 and go down and do this criminal activity, etc. They find that fast access to money comes through criminal activities. So when we underfund or not give the support to the organizations themselves, then they are really just limping along. They're doing their best, but they don't have the kind of support. So I'm saying we need to probably give some more emphasis to the people and the organizations who are really trying to salvage what is taking place in society. Else we are going to be in a situation that we will regret it even more and more as we go down. Currently, we are fearful of our own children because many of the crimes and the pain that we are feeling from many of the criminalities that are taking place are from our very children, teenagers, people who are just met 20 years old. The brain matures by 25 years old, and many of those criminal activities are taking place between males in particular, just under or just over 25 years old.
How do we create a curriculum or just engagement that the young guys want to be a part of? So even with the funding, even with the support, with the activities happening, what is the type of appeals that we may have to start utilizing? You know we can reach them through the social media, but what type of appeals that's similar to some of the gratification that's given through the gang activities or the illegal activities that we can try to emulate in a positive way with what we're doing to reach them?
No, that's a big question you ask. But I will tell you this. I suspect, I don't have any empirical evidence for it, but I suspect many of the people who have been in criminal activities may not be academically inclined. But they are very skillful at what they do. Because when you see the kind of crimes that they commit and get away from, that even now we say that the police cannot even be able to apprehend them fast enough or be able to detect who they are. It shows that there is a skill set that they have. And I think that we have moved so much towards academia that we have ignored that there are other intelligences beside that type of intelligence. There are people who have skills hands-on that we can use to be able to turn them around. But we don't have enough vocational training and some of these programs that bring people out to be able to use their hands and use their skills that they have innately to be able to bring out the best in some of these boys, right? And so we need to move away from the classroom a bit and now start to target them in that kind of way. Because the gang member is not really sitting down and saying, read this book here, you know. He's using what the boy has naturally, his strength, he's using what comes to him as what he was born with, and to be able to use to get out of him the kind of result that the gang wants to get.
And even as it pertains to the career phase, particularly in TVET, technical vocational educational training, getting them exposed to the idea that there are so many different avenues to get money and get money fast as well.
Yes.
Through trade.
Yes.
Because you know some guys that are into the trade, sometimes you have a guy come in with their car, 15 minutes they leave, they just spend $1,200.
Yes.
So there is fast money that's legitimate money as well.
is.
So how do we get them to understand that as long as they certify themselves, as long as they become skilled, there is the potential for them to make that very quick money that they're looking for on the block or just being idle legally.
Yes. And that is the catch-22, because give credit to many of the programs that the government and the THE would have brought on. They have done programs that give you actually stipend to come and learn these skills. And yet you don't have the kind of subscription for these programs. And the question is why? I don't have the answer. Some of these programs come back to academics. And before, when we used to have the Mount St. George school, where you go there and learn a skill, it was not so heavily academic. It was more utilizing the skill for people to come out. But I know that we keep going back to the academics, and that is foreboding to many of the young people. But as I said, I don't have the holistic as to why it is, but I know that attempts have been made to be able to woo them to get the training, get stipend for the training, before you even qualify, and yet they are not doing it.
But what type of cultural, psychological shifts has happened whereby young men and women are now satisfied with just getting up early and going and getting a morning job? And there are the community impact initiatives where persons through the Division of Education now get free training to prepare themselves for CXC to become qualified. And there are those community courses that you get to do, plumbing, hairdressing, you name it, all these different areas of technical vocation in the community, but the subscription simply is not there. Persons are now saying, well, if I could just get up early and be done with work by 8 a.m., that is satisfactory for a number of persons. What happened? What shifted the population to that?
A number of things we could propose. Again, we don't have the empirical. But some of the boys that I spoke with who get up 11, 12 o'clock in the day, there is no need for them to work. They are assured by their very parents 3 square meals. They would lose nothing. You see? So what happened is, as parents, I think we have tried to insulate our children from some of the things we went through, but did not recognize that those things that we went through gave us the resilience that we have today.
Right.
So they get up late, they have not been productive, they sit up on their devices till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then sleep late, and then they're going out online. But nothing is taken away from their life until they meet a certain stage and they want to settle down in life, want to get married, and then they realize they don't have resources. So they can't get married, they can't settle down. So now sometimes I think that they go to criminality in order to be able to maintain that kind of life.
Or they look for women who are.
Or they look
well
for
off.
women who have.
Yeah,
because I've heard fellas say, I want a woman who owns her own car, you see, or have her own house, you see. So, and again, that brings in that sort of malaise and destructive kind of mentality that we now see and reaping in society.
Understood. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break from this conversation, and we'll be back with much more on how do we reach our boys after this. See you soon.
Coming up, hot plates, cold drinks, and chill vibes were the order of the month in Antigua and Barbuda. Top chefs, tasty menus, influencers, and foodies. The boxes were ticked, kitchens buzzing, and grills fired up. It's the one and only Antigua and Barbuda Culinary Month with Caribbean Passport TV on this station.
Stay tuned for what's coming next.
Welcome to Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, where innovation meets excellence and service reigns supreme. Our commitment is simple: to provide high-quality, innovative aluminum, vinyl, and glass solutions for both commercial and residential spaces. At TGSL, we don't just meet needs, we exceed expectations. Our range includes the finest aluminum cladding options, setting new standards in durability and style. Driven by our passion to elevate, we aim to be the leading supplier in the Caribbean market while retaining our identity as a family-owned business. Because at Tobago Glass Supplies Limited, it's not just about products. It's about relationships, it's about you. Innovation, quality, service. That's Tobago Glass Supplies Limited.
On Saturday, June the 27th, at 5 p.m., Divine Breakthrough Empowerment Ministries, located at Grafton Main Road, Black Rock, presents prophetic praise and worship theme, Manifest. 5 churches, 5 worship teams. As we come together in praise and worship, come expecting a time of refreshing. Come expecting your healing, your deliverance, your miracle, your salvation, as God manifests Himself. See you there.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Nice.
If I have to call a supervisor one more time to sign off on a customer because their financials are in a mess, I will scream.
Hey, don't scream in a bank that have lockup in it.
It's either they're not registered properly, or you know what, we could just forget about annual returns, right?
Compliance is a bad word to most of them. All your compliance out of here. But let me eat.
What is wrong with Trinbagonians? I mean, it has so much help they could get out there.
Well, you know, Trinis, we don't like to spend we money.
But you know what? Be comfortable with losing we money. That make it any financial
What people should do is call Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago.
Wait, what? Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago Tax and Accounting Services. Yeah, they offer helping from registering your business to filing your tax. My lunch is over.
Wait, tell me more.
No, go and scream in the bank. You go and scream in the bank.
No, Antoine, don't get one sooner.
and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I have been chatting with coach, motivational speaker, and overall community leader, Mr. Michael Stewart, and we've been talking about how to reach the men or young boys in Tobago, particularly within the classroom and the education system. But we're going to touch a bit on some of the work that you have been doing with the young men. Tell us a bit about that.
So we have something that called Boys Polishing Camp. Years ago, we used to have something called Girls Finishing School to teach them poise, dress, etc. So that is akin to that. Boys Polishing Camp is to polish our boys so that they could become good men. So we've had some very good results in that. One of our flagship guys that I figure is AJ Allen. AJ Allen was part of it. I remember AJ came and he did not want to come, but he was insisted by his mother to attend. And eventually, AJ went through that program. AJ has acted as Prime Minister in the Youth Parliament, etc., and have gone out here, out of the country and represent. And we hail that as one of our good results. A lady sent me a picture. I can't remember the boy, but she said the boy came to our thing and she showed me a picture with him in the pilot seat. Right? He is now flying planes, etc. Another lady called me just 2 weeks ago, and she reminded me, this is a boy who would wake up 11 o'clock in the day, would not go to do anything. She bought equipment for cricket and all of that, and he just did not have any interest. And she's now living in the States, and she's now telling me that same boy is now an engineer. And she said the turning point has been the Boys Polishing Camp. So we know that it has value. But as I said, having that to sustain is difficult without the kind of support, financial support. Because what we do is that we take them away from having to eat the fast food, give them a balanced meal, help them to learn to eat with knife and fork, because many of them have never eaten with knife and fork, although they are 17, 18 years old. And we find them, learn how to wash dishes and clean up the place, etc. Domesticate them, if you will. So that cost, because somebody has to be catered for the food, etc. If we were just doing it that they just come and go, well, then it's quite cheap. But it is going to be a difficult thing. And then we want to reward them in the areas that we want to see them improve in society. In their demeanor, their deportment, their dress, their helpfulness, their leadership in the group, etc. And then, of course, those prizes or those awards going to be costed. But I think that we've been having some very good results. It's not as where we would like it to be, but had we had funding, we could be able to make a massive thing, because we do have parents who are calling in and really want to be part of it, but do not have the funding.
And how can persons reach out to you, your organization, to be a part of this or to have a greater idea of the proposal for this camp for the young boys?
They can just hit me up on 480-0080, like 480-0080, or they could do that on WhatsApp or get me on Facebook.
Okay, tell us a bit about the curriculum. What else are the young guys exposed to? Are they exposed to things like public speaking, how to dress appropriately for different events? Tell us a bit about it.
Yes, and AJ Allen again is one of those examples that we teach them how to speak, how to speak well, how to speak fluently, and get away from some of the jargon. We teach them how to dress. Jeans is not the common dress code for every event that you go to. So we actually teach them how to tie their own ties. So at graduation, they are usually well dressed with ties, etc., that they themselves tied, and they do that as a demonstration at the graduation many times. So we have the dress code. We even have issues of how do we manage their emotions. So if a fight breaks out in the camp, which sometimes you will have that little thing, we just sit by and we watch it. What we are doing, we are monitoring it to see how they manage it. And then we're looking to see who might be the one to bring it to an end. After we've done that, we will call a parliament or a court in session, and the jury will be some of the others in the camp, and they will ask them to have a lawyer for each one of them, and they let them now play out a case as to who is guilty, who's not guilty, and what is the punishment to be given. Even that and all gives them the leadership skill. It teaches them how to be able to respond. What we found out with that is that the punishment that the jury gives of their peers, they accept that more than if we as administrators of the camp say give them the punishment, they usually would have rejected it. So I think it works well, and it also gives those who are doing the play of being the lawyers to know how to argue for their client and how to be able to defend. So I think it is one of the things that we find is also one of the success of the camp.
Right, and I think that that's really important, critical actually in the community, to have the young boys engaged with their peers in a positive environment.
Yes.
You know, just like we spoke about earlier, having that level of support, camaraderie, without there being that negative shadow behind it through gang activities. And so it's important for persons to really support your organization and the work that you're doing with this camp. And just reiterate how persons can reach out, how they can play a part in ensuring that it happens this year in 2026 for the young boys in the community, and even parents who are interested in getting their boys refined.
Yes. So my number is, if you're calling outside, because people can contribute from outside, 868-480-0080, or you can email me at officeofmichaelatstewart@gmail.com. That is officeofmichaelatstewart@gmail.com, or you can meet me on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Michael Stewart, the
Right.
profile.
And there are some persons who may say, well, you know, our organization, we offer mentorship to young boys. We do this, we do that. That is similarly aligned to the work that you have been doing. Are you open to those partnerships with other organizations that are having the same agenda?
And we have been partnering with some, and that I think is necessary, especially in this time of climate where we all share the same situations and we all have the same goals.
Right, and this, at the point in time where you guys make this intervention, what age groups are you focused on?
I try to focus just when they hit 12, 13 and onward. The younger ones has to have a different type of mentorship, I believe. But these others, because they would be somewhat similar in the same challenges that they have, it is at that point, girlfriend, wanting to have an identity, etc. All of those things are similar at that time. The ones younger, it is play and so on, and so you need a certain type to be able to deal with that age then.
What is the long-term mentorship that's offered after the program? Do you guys often follow up with the guys to see how they've been progressing?
So we bring some of them back in now as mentors themselves, to say we passed through it and this is where it has helped me, and they come back and they talk with some of these guys, etc., so that there's got that continuity that we have.
And just touching back on where we started off our conversation this morning as it pertains to meeting young boys within the classroom and giving teachers the tools that they need to be equipped to do that, while also trying to successfully guide the rest of the classroom. I just reiterate for us, what is really needed there when we take a bit of a zone in on what's happening in the classroom setting with these young boys?
So in the classrooms, the education system is not really catered for the male brain. The male brain has a short attention span. And we are more hands-on as males than for talk. But the classroom is more structured for talk rather than activity. And some of the science has said that boys especially should be more on the outside in order for them to be able to learn better and allow their testosterone, because a boy is unable to sit still as a girl may have been for a lengthy period of time. We become a bit irritable and restless and so on. So even the style has to be changed. And so I'm suggesting that we review the educational system, and that has been called for many times, as to whether we are meeting the male brain type of learning, because these guys are not that they are dunce necessarily, but we have not catered to them. And that, I think, is going to be critical in going forward.
Understood. And even as we end our discussion this morning, is there anything that you want to say to our viewers looking on as we wrap up?
Well, Father's Day is coming up, and I want to wish all our men happy Father's Day. And I want to ask our fathers, even if you are not with the mother of your child, you still have a responsibility to your children. And it is important, regardless of what takes place there, for us to be able to be support to our children and be mentors to them. And I think regardless also is that we need to demonstrate to our boys particularly the way we treat their mother is going to be translated in their own life as they move forward.
Love that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break right here and we'll be back with much more after this. See you soon.
Sofa Factory is here in Tobago. Conveniently located Montessori Drive, Glen Road, Scarborough. Up to 20% off on select sofas for customization. Deals on some sofas from as low as $4,000 until stocks last. 10% off on all wardrobes. Half off on shower heads with the purchase of a vanity set. Come in and experience the new way to shop for furniture and see the quality in person.
My name is Carpage. I'm the head coach of St. Jago High School boys track and field team.
My name is Joseph Small. I am the head coach of the girls female program. Preparing an athlete is not just running on the track. You have the mental aspect, you have the nutrition aspect, and you have the support and the motivation. So there's a lot of factors that we have to look into, and we have to try to see how best we can deal with them as best as possible.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Make your goals a reality this season with Mount Pleasant Credit Union. Tobago's choice, we got you smiling. Come and feel that mid-year feeling, oh yeah. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, your goals grow. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice. You know, every loan wants to prove more reasons to celebrate. Chance to win big, doesn't that feel great? Up to $3,500 in exciting gift certificates. Share investment starts as low as $2,500. Mid-year island dreams, we make it easy. $20,000 to $100,000. Come and see, we warm hearts, bright plans, let your goals grow. Whoa. Mount Pleasant Credit Union, Tobago's choice, you know.
Nice.
If I have to call a supervisor one more time to sign off on a customer because their financials are in a mess, I will scream.
Hey, don't scream in a bank. That have lockup in it.
It's either they're not registered properly, or you know what? We could just forget about annual returns, right?
Compliance is a bad word to most of them. Haul your compliance out of here. But let me eat.
What is wrong with Trinbagonians? I mean, it has so much help they could get out there.
Well, you know, Trinis, we don't like to spend we money.
But you know what? Be comfortable with losing we money. That make it any financial
What people should do is call Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago.
Wait, what? Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago?
Anderson in Trinidad and Tobago Tax and Accounting Services. Yeah, they offer helping from registering your business to filing your tax. Oh! My lunch is over. Oh!
Wait, tell me more.
No, go and scream in the bank. You go and scream in the bank.
No, I don't get one sooner.
On Saturday, June the 27th, at 5 p.m., Divine Breakthrough Empowerment Ministries, located at Grafton Main Road, Black Rock, presents prophetic praise and worship theme, Manifest. 5 churches, 5 worship teams. As we come together in praise and worship, come expecting a time of refreshing. Come expecting your healing, your deliverance, your miracle, your salvation. As God manifests himself, see you there.
Yeah. Looking for office attire or worship apparel, then come to Tia's Classic Closet. Shopping for casual clothing or just want to dress down. Big discount, so it's you on clothing and comfortable shoes. Get some wonderful accessories to match your attire. Come to Tia's Classic Closet at 39 Montgomery Road. Opening hours daily from 9:30 to 5:30. For more information, call 710-168-9999999.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, Tobago.
Good morning and welcome back to Good Morning Tobago right here on Tobago Updates. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we continue our discussions and I'm chatting with Mrs. Shireen Mongol, who's the advisor for marketing and impact at the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and we're talking about Tobago Moves 5K in partnership with Republic Bank. Tell us a bit about this 5K and, why did you decide to bring it to Tobago if this is the first iteration of that 5K?
So sure, absolutely. So the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society has been the national voice against cancer for over 55 years. We have had presence in Tobago through our mobile screening unit. We come into Tobago fairly often to engage with students in high schools talking about the harmful effects of smoking and vaping. Our goal and objective of the Cancer Society has always been to educate and to promote prevention by screening for early detection. So being in Tobago for so many years, it just opened up the discussion and opened up the doors for us to really bring the people of Tobago together in this 5K charity event. It falls under the American Cancer Society's Global Relay for Life initiative, and it's a milestone for us because, like I said, while we've been in Tobago, we've not been in Tobago in this capacity, and we really wanted to bring the people of Tobago together to stand with us in the fight against cancer.
Understood. I see that you have also partnered with the Division of Health on this as well. Tell us a bit about that partnership and why that's important.
Well, this is an incredible opportunity for us. This is the Division of Public Health, and we just needed to reach out to them, and they were really on board because a lot of what we do at the Cancer Society is about promoting healthier lifestyles and healthier living. And that's part of their agenda. So we are very much aligned in terms of what we want to achieve in bringing people together. Their partnership, really takes us to another level in the ability to provide certain education programs, certain initiatives, screening at the event. And so they would be there in a significant way. And we're really, really happy for their partnership.
Excellent. So again, tell us a bit about this particular walk, run, and how persons can get involved to register on time.
Okay, sure. So, I'm sure you'll agree with me that I find that 5Ks and events like these are slowly becoming a part of our culture. You find there are a lot more people competitive who want to participate and win a prize, perhaps people who just really do it for the medal at the end of the event. And then there's a significant amount of people who do it for the health benefit, in terms of staying fit and keeping healthy. We became a member of the American Cancer Society Global Relay for Life Initiative 4 years ago, and we are required to execute an event like this every year. So we've done different things in Trinidad, but this is the first time we're doing a 5K event under the Cancer Society. And we felt, it was a way to, bring the Tobago people. And, we have a lot of people coming from Trinidad as well. So this event takes place on the 11th of July. It kicks off at the Republic Bank car park in Orkinskio, and then the map is already routed. It takes you along the coast. I can't give you the exact names of the streets, but everything is available on our website, cancertt.com. Registration is open on raceroster.com, and the map is also highlighted there. There are a couple of activities. So apart from the 5K run, we also have a high energy burn session. So there may be people who really are not up for the running or walking activity, but they want to get fit, in a certain position. So they're happy to just, stay there and participate. And of course, it all culminates with something called a luminaria ceremony. And so this event is always very ceremonial. It really acknowledges those people who we've lost to cancer and celebrates the lives of those people who are battling cancer and all lives, to be honest. So the luminaria ceremony allows you to decorate a bag with your message to your loved one lost, and it's lit at the end of the event once it becomes dark.
Understood. And I really like that aspect of it. So this is for anyone who has passed from cancer or fighting cancer. It doesn't matter what type of cancer it is.
Well, absolutely no. So the luminaria ceremony acknowledges those loved ones passed from cancer and going through cancer. So we celebrate them in this way. It's like I said, it's a very moving moment of prayer and solidarity. And that is how all of the activities will culminate at the end of it. So once you register for either the 5K or the high energy burn, you automatically register for the luminaria ceremony. So we would encourage all participants to stick around and participate in that lighting sort of festival and celebration.
Right. And we know a huge part of the new 5K culture has to do with some of the free goodies that you get when you cross the finishing line at the end of the race. Are you partnering with any particular organizations that you can see at the end they're offering those prizes or goodies after the race?
Yes, so there will be cash prizes for first, second, and third, and we want to remind our participants as well that this is a charity event, so we can do as much as we're allowed to do. In terms of goodies, absolutely yes. When you register, you get a little backpack, and of course, there's a separate cost for t-shirts if you wanted to purchase the t-shirt, and you do get a medal at the end of it. We're not certain of what the cash prizes are going to be yet, but there will be cash prizes. And the village that we will create would have our sponsors who would be present, who will be distributing goodies. And I know that I can't say yet, I just don't know what they plan on doing. And one of the important things is that Republic Bank has always been a solid support for the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society for several decades, and they are a title partner. So I suspect you could look forward to some really nice things from Republic Bank as well.
We look forward to that indeed. When is the deadline for registration for this 5K?
The thing is, we plan on keeping it open. We really do. Numbers are climbing slowly, but we obviously hope that, the opportunities like these on your show, we would see a boost in that, because people would say, hey, I really want to be a part of this and show my support and, stand with the Cancer Society in this fight against cancer. So We really hope that those numbers are going to climb quickly. I know that we are a little bit of a last minute culture, so we expect them to climb. Our target is 1,000 people, so we encourage people to register soon, really go online, register. There's special packages for people who are willing to travel to Tobago, and there are hotel packages that are available to them. But more importantly, we also have special discounted packages for companies who want to use it as a corporate retreat, or for families who just want to do a family type activity. There are special group packages for that as well.
All right. Remind us again of the time, the start date, and the route for this 5K, because this one is going to be really big for the 5K lovers here on the island of Tobago, whether you are planning to run, walk, or even crawl across the finishing line. This one is definitely one that you don't want to miss. And if you have tried to register for previous 5Ks throughout the year that had been sold out, this is your opportunity to get in. This one is targeting up to 1,000 persons, so we know this 5K is about to be big. All right.
Well, I appreciate that. I could not have said it better myself, so thank you so much for that. So the 11th of July, starting at the Republic Bank car park in Orkinscure. The route takes you along the coast. The map is on raceroster.com, which is where you register. For group packages, you call us at our office, 280-3353. And let's talk about what you want to do. If you want to do group registration, I mean, we obviously still open for sponsorship. Again, this is a charity event, and we're really encouraging the people of Tobago to really stand with us in this fight and, give us an opportunity to work with the communities and engage the communities a little bit more in our capacity as the national voice against cancer.
Excellent. And this is definitely your time to come out and recognize any of your loved ones who have passed or is currently battling against cancer. This one is a big one for Tobago. We are happy that you decided to have this event here as well, because we know a lot of these 5Ks are happening every weekend in Trinidad. So it's excellent when persons get the opportunity to have a change of scenery, run by the beach here on the island of Tobago and kind of get a taste of what paradise truly is, what it feels like to get fit on the island of Tobago. So again, we want to say thank you so much to the Trinidad and Tobago Cancer Society, and I look forward to seeing some of my colleagues from Tobago Updates here coming out and getting competitive with me as we go and be a part of this 5K and we get moving. We already know that if anybody is going to come out on top of this race from Tobago Updates, it would be me, and my colleagues would definitely be left behind. But that's another story for another day, right? Again, we want to thank you. We look forward to this really fun initiative that's happening on the 11th of July. Again, it's going to be starting at the Orkinscure Republic Bank car park. That's where the entire showing is going to take place. A lot of fun, a lot of excitement, and most of all, that luminary ceremony that's going to be taking place after the 5K with an energetic burnout as well for the persons who may or may not want to do the run. There's so much that you can do to be a part of this great celebration in memory of anyone you know who has battled against the big C. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's where we end off our conversation here this morning. We want to thank you so much for your likes, your shares, and your comments, and all that you have been doing and continue to do to make Tobago Updates the #1 broadcaster here on the island of Tobago. Again, I am Chanel Felix, and have a quite productive day.